So when I was growing up, I used to watch a lot of sports, and there was a television show on, and it was called The Superstars. And what it would take different athletes from different sports, and they would compete against each other. So you'd have a baseball player, football player, basketball player, sometimes a tennis player, and they would compete in these different events to see who would be the superstar at the end of the competition. And the last event that they would compete in was the obstacle course. And that was the hardest event. You'd have to run through the tires and jump over some water. And then the very last part of the obstacle course was you'd have to climb over this 15-foot wall to get to the finish line. And it reminds me of the Apostle Paul in Acts. He talks about, or he pictures himself running in a race and finishing the race and having joy. So if any of you have ever run in a race or a marathon, we actually have one of our leaders in our youth ministry who actually is an Ironman. She's competed in an Ironman competition. And that's a crazy, crazy event. But when you finish that race, there's a sense of relief and there's a sense of joy. Wow, I accomplished this. So when you're going through life, it can kind of be an obstacle course itself. You have to endure certain hurdles and certain obstacles as a Christian, as a believer. Living the Christian life is not easy. And yet, my thought today is we need to embrace the obstacles in our lives. Because as we do that, we're becoming more and more like Jesus Christ. I know people that were once claiming to be believers. And there came a point in their life where they said, it just got too hard to be a Christian. I just can't do it anymore. It's too hard to lay aside the love of the world, to lay aside every sin that entangles me. I just can't do it anymore. But the Bible gives us some simple advice on what we're to do when we feel that way. And it's very simple, but it's not that easy. It's to fix our eyes on Jesus, the author and perfecter of faith. See, when I look to Jesus and when I look to the cross and I see what He endured for me and the victory that He won for me on the cross, then any affliction that I face in this life is bearable, no matter how hard. And we're going to face a lot of hard things in our lives. We're going to face obstacles. But let's remember, if we embrace those obstacles, those hurdles, those 15-foot walls in our life, and we finish the race, just like Paul, we'll be filled with joy. I was reading about a lady named Wilma Rudolph. Wilma Rudolph was a track star. In 1960, she won 3 gold medals in the Olympics. But it didn't come without her share of obstacles, because when she was 4 years old, she was diagnosed with scarlet fever. And she had to have a brace on her leg. She actually lost the feeling in her left leg. And she had to learn at the age of 7 how to walk all over again. But it didn't stop her. That obstacle, that hurdle didn't stop her from her goal of not only finishing the race, but winning 3 gold medals. So obstacles, we all have them. But let's embrace them, because when we do and when we endure, we will be filled with joy, and we will be conformed more into the image of Jesus Christ. God bless you.